Hi, I'm Miriam Joy and welcome to my studio. I crochet a lot in the evenings after I've had a busy day in the studio. It really helps me to relax, and I've come up with a couple of different patterns, so I thought I would share them with you. This is my sweetheart scarf, and it's something I came up with around Valentine's time, and I really thought it was really cute and lovely in different colors, and it doesn't take much to do. It's a simple back and forth pattern. This is my first video using crochet, so be kind to me, but let's get started. To do my project, I really decided when I first started making it, the hearts didn't show up when it was one solid color, but we'll talk about how to make it one solid color if you wanted to do that. But by making them a different color, the hearts really stood out, and you could tell they were hearts. It takes 2 skeins of yarn, and I like the lighter weight yarn, but that's totally going to be up to you what you like, and it doesn't matter what size of yarn. And on this one I used a light 3, and I used whatever size crochet hook they said. They said a 5mm here, so I'm using a 5mm hook, and I'm using an inline hook. And we're going to start it out, and I thought I'm going to make my hearts red on this one, and I've already used part of it for the scarf already, so you'd want a bigger piece. That I would do my hearts red and my other color white, so it showed really well. And I thought that the middle color would use up more, but actually the hearts used up more yarn than the solid color in the middle, which was, I thought, was really surprising to me. So and if one scan's fine. If you want to make it longer, then you may want to get another one. That's going to be totally up to you, the size that you want to make the scarf. So we're going to start by circling our hook around our yarn and pulling it through to create our knot, and then we're going to chain 18. So we're just simply pulling it through 18 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now that we've chained 18, we're going to count this one as our first double crochet, and we're going to go 2 chains back and do a double crochet into that one. So that counts as 2 double crochets. We're going to do 3 and 4 double crochets in each one, but counting part of that chain as a double crochet. Then we're going to chain 1, yarn on, go into the next chain and double crochet, and do 2 double crochets and 3 double crochets, and we're going to come down. We're going to skip this one and go into the next one, counting that as our 4th double crochet, and we're going to do a slip stitch, just pulling that straight through. So that ends that one, but we want to begin the next one. So we're going to go into the next chain and slip through that, do a slip stitch, yarn on. We're going to again go into our 2nd chain and do a double crochet. So that counts as our 2nd double crochet. Our 3rd double crochet and our 4th double crochet. We're going to chain on, or do a chain, excuse me, and we're going to yarn on and go into the next chain. These are all to the left. We're going to do another double crochet, and do our 2nd double crochet, yarn on and do our 3rd double crochet, and our 4th one will count down here. Again, we're going to skip one and go into our second chain to the left and do a slip stitch. So we finished two kind of shell looking. This is my first crochet video, so I'm not always quite sure what to call the terminology. And then we're going to do our last one now, so we'll have a total of 3. So we're going to go into the next chain to the left and slip stitch and do a yarn on and do a double crochet 2 chains from the left. So now that's going to count as our second one, our third double crochet, and our fourth double crochet. We're going to chain 1, yarn on, and go into the next chain to the left and do a double crochet and 2 double crochets and 3 double crochets, and then you should have 2 left here. So you're going to go into that very last one and do a slip stitch on that. Okay, so that's almost the hardest part, I think, is creating that bottom border. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flip it over, and we're going to go in between these right underneath there where you pick up both of the pieces of yarn from the top. So you're going into the top of each double crochet and you're going to do a slip stitch because we really don't want this to show, but we want to get the yarn back up to the top. So we're going to slip through that one. I had tried chaining one there. If that's easier for you, then chain one there and then do the slip stitch when you flip it over. Do the second one, so we have 2 more that we need to do the slip stitch through. And another one there. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out more and leave that because I'm going to work with my red now. So we're going to come over with our red, and what I found easiest for me is if I put one yarn on one side and one yarn on the other side of what I was working on, and then it made it a lot easier if I needed to and kept them from twisting up and everything. So that worked well for me, and then I turned my scarf as I was making it. So we're going to make our circle again, put our crochet hook through and just make a knot and tighten that. And we're going to come down to our first double crochet. So we have the top of 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be on the very end. And just those very top 2 pieces of yarn. And get your yarn through that. And I'm just going to tuck my tail in and crochet over this right now so I don't have to sew it in later. And we're going to do single crochets in each one of the double crochets. So we're just going to pull it through this time and pull it through both of those to form a double crochet. And double crochet in all 4 of these. When we get to the chain, we're going to chain 1 here and jump over that chain, and then again go into the top of the 4 double crochets on the other side. And if you're not familiar with stitches, there is so many great videos out on YouTube that'll teach you the basics right now. So we're going to go way down here. And we're going to go into even this one because that is our last one here. So every one, we're not skipping any at the bottom. And we're going to move right over into that next, we'll call it a shell. I'm sure a lot of you know the names more than I do. I've been crocheting since I was a little girl, but have never done it much by patterns. We're going to do our single crochets again up until we have that chain, and we're going to chain and then jump over. Do single crochets, 4 single crochets, 1 in each of the top of the double crochets. Make sure you get that 1 in here. It's going to be a little bit easier once you get this first row done to get into them. But you should have 4 down one side and 4 going up the other side. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we have our chain, and I'm going to pull this guy just a little bit tighter so he's not in the way. We're going to keep this guy on either side of our crochet part, and we're going to just crochet right in between him as we go. So we've chained it, so we're coming in right here, and you should have 4 double crochets left. And do just 4 single crochets, 1 on each of those, and then that very last one. So we've got those all in. So we're going to now chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to come into that last double crochet, and we're going to pull that through. Do a slip stitch on that. And we're going to flip our scarf over. And you have your little loop right here. And we're going to do our heart, and what we're going to do is just increase stitches from a single crochet all the way up to a triple. And so we're going to start with just a single crochet, and then we're going to do a half double crochet, and then we're going to do a double crochet. We're going to do a half triple crochet, and then we're going to do a triple, and then we're going to do one more triple. We're going to give it that nice heart shape up on the corners of the heart. We're going to chain down 3 and do a slip stitch to form our first part of that heart. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. We're going to chain up 3 to start our first stitch on that side, and then we're going to do a triple crochet, and we're doing 2 of those. And then we're doing a half triple, and then we're doing a double crochet, and then we're doing a half double crochet, and then we're doing a single crochet. So we formed our heart. So we've got that nice heart shape. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull that right there and leave that while we go do our next row of white. All right, so we've got our loop. We've got that out of the way. Now we've turned it. We've kept our colors separate. We've chained up, excuse me, I keep saying that. We have slip stitched up that side. We're going to do one more slip stitch, and that is going to be between the white and the red. And we're going to slip stitch it, and we're going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to count as our first double crochet. And we're doing 3 because that comes down a little bit lower, so we want that a little bit higher up. Going to yarn on and do our second double crochet, and our third double crochet, and our fourth double crochet. We're going to chain and do 4 more double crochets in the same spot. And this is going to be just kind of repeating everything we've done, but we'll go through it a little bit more. Now, I'm not going to do a chain here. I'm just going to do from one double crochet to the next double crochet. And we're going into the chain between the red, at the top of the red, right above our white chain stitch there. We're going to do another double crochet going into the same hole. So we're only going into these top 3 holes. Our third double crochet and 4. Chain 1 and 4 more double crochets. We're basically just going to be repeating the same thing, but I'll walk you through a few more. And no hate messages for incorrect terminology, please. I just wanted to share this pattern. I thought it was a lot of fun. So now we've finished that last 4th double crochet, and we're going to go right into that chain on top of that final 3rd shell and do the next double crochet and our 2nd double crochet, 3rd and 4th. Oops, we picked it up there. Chain 1 and 4 more double crochets. Okay, so what we're going to do is turn our scarf. We're going to go into that hole, and this is where I told you if it's easier for you to chain 1 and go into that hole, do that. That's fine. We're just going to go in the top of the first 4 double crochets and slip stitch those to get us up towards the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to pull that out. So if I happen to pull on that while I'm working on the other side, it won't take my yarn away. So I flipped it back over, and we're back to our red. And I'm going to close that loop up. And I'm going to come in the top of these and go slip stitch those 3 right there, just to work my red back. Just going into each one of those red and doing a slip stitch. Okay, and once we start chaining up or going up this first chain, I'm going to do single crochets in each one of those till we get to the top. So there's 3 of those. So a single crochet, and we are at the top. So once we get to the top, we're going to go under each one of those. So you have 2 on the top of your double crochet. We're going to go into each of the tops of the double crochets again, just like we did the last row. When you get to the chain, you're going to chain 1 and then jump over and go to the other 4. Single crochet in the tops of each one of those. So now we're just going to jump. We're not going to do anything different. We're just going to continue with our single crochets all the way up. The only thing that's different on these is our chain on top of our chain. And then we jump over and we go down, doing single crochets in each one of those doubles. Gonna jump at the bottom, not changing, all the way. We get to our single crochet, our chain. We're gonna chain 1, and we're gonna put that on that side and this on this side and work right over the top of it, going into that hole the same as where that is. Do a single crochet. We should have 4 more. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to start our heart again. We'll do our heart one more time. Chain up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and go down into the last single crochet and do a slip stitch and turn your scarf around. So you're working on the heart from the other side that you were started that row on. So we're going to go into our loop and do a single crochet, and we're going to do a half double, which means we're only pulling that through all 3 of those instead of doing another stitch, a double crochet, and a half triple. We're only pulling that through 2 times instead of 3 there, and then we're doing a triple. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do another triple just to give it that extra puff, and we're going to chain 3 to make that last stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch down in the loop, and we're going to chain up 3. We're going to yarn on and do another triple, and one more triple, a half triple, a double, a half double, and a single crochet. And we are going to pull that out and leave that one. Now we are, see how we're keeping our yarn? They haven't twisted. We're going to put our crochet hook into the white and loop and pull that tight, and then we're going to do that slip stitch right there, and then start your chain up 3 and onto your next row of doing 4 chain and 4 in each hole. And this just continues throughout the entire scarf. Now if you didn't like the 2 colors and you wanted to leave it all one color, you wouldn't stop at the heart. You would just do the slip stitch in this right here, and then just start right where we started with the white and continue to work it that way, and you wouldn't have this extra row in there. It would just be one solid color. But I like the color differences. I think that's really, really nice. To end the scarf, once you've made it as long as you want, or if you ran out of yarn, you finish your double crochets here. We're just going to simply cut that off, pull that through that last little loop, and we're just going to weave that back in, just in and out, and just pull that through with your crochet hook. And I've got that longer, so I'm just going to trim that off because we're still going to go over that with our red. So we've got our red now. We're going to go into that loop and pull that tight. We're going to do our slip stitches through those 3. And we're going to do our single crochets going up that chain. And then go into each one of the double crochets at the top. Again, we're chain 1, jump over, and do our single crochets down the side. So we're going to do this all across just like we've been doing until we get to the other edge. And we're going to end it with a heart. Just trying to hurry to get there. And if you pick this guy up, then he'll be even tighter in there. Our tail, that is. Okay, I'm going to chain our 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go down into that last single crochet and do a slip stitch. And then we're going to flip our scarf over. And we're going to finish off the hearts in that loop, starting with our single crochet, our half double, our double, our half triple, that should be half triple there, our triple, our second triple, and chain 3. Do a slip stitch, chain up 3, our triple, triple, one more time on that one, our half triple, our double crochet, our half double, and our single. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to come into that first single crochet on that roll, and we're going to pull that through and pull that loop to get that heart formed nice and tight, and then just pull your yarn through one more time to make that nice and secure. And you can run that through the bottom, or you could run that through the heart, wherever you think it's most secure. I would probably do it through the bottom, so I'm just gonna go in and out and pull my tail in. And just trim out. And that is how you finish it. And that looks nice and neat. Now on this one, because the hearts kind of curl up a bit, I did press it or block it. I used an iron and kind of steamed it. You want to be really, really careful with your, depending on what type of yarn you're using. I would probably suggest that you use towel over the top of it, so you don't melt your yarn. That's one thing you want to be a little bit concerned about, but I really liked it because I thought the heart showed up a lot better that way than just kind of curled up, but you may like them curly instead. That is totally up to you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Come on over and check out my wildflower scarf as well, and that's one that's kind of a little bit similar, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the project, please email me at art@miriamjoy.com. God bless.